No, I put it in Brian's spot.
Somebody was at a meeting here the other day and they said they started to sink.
We gotta get rid of that chicken. No, I had it. You put it in my spot. No, it's right here. It's that one? Yeah. This is, we got, now we got two bad ones. Yeah, there's a few. I gave it to Eric. It made it all the way down here.
Whenever you're ready, Tom.
Okay. Hey, Roy.
For Northfield City Council, June 13th of 2023. This meeting was properly advertised in accordance with Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, and in the Press of Atlantic City on January 7th of this year. May I have a flag salute led by Mayor Chow, please?
This will work. Okay. let me get you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Roll call, Mrs. Bucci.
Here.
Mrs. Parfano.
Here.
Mr. Deweese.
Here.
Mr. Leeds.
Here.
Mr. Notaro.
Here.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Palestino.
Here.
Mr. Chow.
Here.
Mr. President.
Thank you. I will move right into our committee reports. Councilman Leeds. Thank you. Councilman Louise.
The main thing I have is the columns out front, according to the engineers, don't save it handling it because the structural nature of it. The columns have been ordered, so I'll keep you updated as we move along. It seems like it's gonna be some time away. That's all I have to
Councilwoman Bucci.
Thank you. I only have one report tonight, with regards to the Economic Development Commission. The New Jersey Small Business Association, along with the Northfield EDC, will be holding an event at the Atlantic City Country Club sometime in August. More details to follow. That's it for me.
Councilwoman Carfagna.
Council President, we had a great event, Project Refit, this here on Friday. He was there with me and we had a lot of great stuff out there.
Good night.
Get out and meet and greet each other. Project Refit, so they will come back again in August. There's also, this program called Zoom Memorial, and we held at the Island. It's on June 22nd, starts at 6 p.m. at night, runs for 3 days, 24 hours a day. And they're having a commemoration of all of the veterans from World War I all the way through to the present. And if you have anybody who you want to be remembered, they're going to be represented with a flag and name tag and a complex. 3 days, you can go to VHS, Byron High School, and have this whole world and see lots of people there. The visiting ceremony on the 22nd at 6 and closing on the 25th at 1, if everybody wants to attend. And for mainland, the graduation is this Friday, 6:30 at the field at the end.
Thank you. Councilman Notaro. Councilwoman Notaro? Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. President. Just a few things tonight. Councilwoman Bucci and I attended the NBA meeting. That's the Northfield Business Association meeting. They're actively progressing with their membership drive. I think they're over 35 members now, myself being one of them. Great organization. They're doing an amazing job. Very proud of those. Some of them are residents and, you know, they're all business leaders in our town. So they're doing a great job. They also had a guest speaker, Ashley Pushman from Atlantic Prevention Resources. She said she was, you know, she talked about the Breathe Easy program. They do a lot of stuff with smoking and that type of stuff. So she has these signs and she would supply the city with as many of these as we wanted for the bike path, Birch Grove, you know, other areas of the town. So maybe we could make a list and see what we would need. I did see on the bike path, there's a lot of spots where we could put them without getting crazy with signs. I mean, I'm not a big fan of signs, but you know, this is probably a pretty nice additive to the bike path. So other than that, just a couple announcements from FAN. In-person signups will be July 10th and August 7th for football, cheer, June 21st, 5:30 to 6:30 at the football field. Also, the Connolly Mile will be July 4th. Race signups start at 7:30 and the race starts at 8:30. That's all I have.
Thank you. From my committee, from finance, as you may or may not see, I saw late today that the audit, we got our final audit. I didn't have a chance to go through the entire thing, so I'll follow up more at the next meeting. I did go over the summary, the executive summary letters, and there's no significant findings. And there were no difficulties encountered in the audit, so it went very smoothly, which we typically have with our audits. They always go smoothly, very cooperative with the audit team. A tribute to our accounting department and our director of finance. The library, they have a new director, so they're transitioning over to a new programs and getting used to what we're doing here in Northfield. Her name is Danielle Simpkins. So if you stop by the library, wish her well, I hope. New treasurer as well. One of the other board members, Wayne Palea, is now the treasurer. And this on Friday, the 23rd, the library begins they kick off their summer reading program for both adults and children. And at the end of August, they'll have get together with and prize things to promote reading. Touch base with them, they'll have to get involved. And on the 24th, Ken the Magician is going to be at Birch Grove Park. He'll be over by the old snack stand underneath the overhang. I believe at 11 a.m. So they'll be that's sponsored by the library or Friends of the Library. And that's all I have from my reports. Oh wait, there is a senior committee meeting. Yes. Yes, no. Oh, yes, it is 28 at 11 a.m. We'll be meeting at the library in the meeting room. And it'll be an open forum for the residents, senior residents, all are hope to attend, some refreshments and light lunch. And be more of a town hall just to fill them in on what's going on in the city, take questions. And police department representatives some be there to discuss whatever they would like to discuss. That is now all I have for my committee. Moving on to the ad hoc committees. Any updates?
I have an update. I forgot to say something with my committee reports. Real quick.
Did?
I did, so real quick.
So did I.
So the night before Memorial Day, the bleachers at the T-ball field and the trash cans were flipped over. And I just wanted to commend Michelle Costello and some of her neighbors from Jack Sloan Court, which were actually the ones that ended up writing that and cleaning it up. Along with, I think, a number of our police officers too. So I just wanted to thank them for being, good neighbors and being conscientious and doing that. But that was for that. Food trucks, we are still working on the final revision and review for that. Then it will go to the zoning and police and fire will review that. And insurance requirements review, we're going to set up. Still need to set up a meeting for that.
Yeah, we're going to try to meet with the risk manager.
Yeah.
Okay. Affordable housing, we do have a meeting tonight, so we have no other updates with that. The cannabis committee, so we did lose one member, Councilman Smith resigned from the committee. I took his spot. And at this time, after our last meeting, the committee is not recommending to move forward. Two major factors that we evaluated that had effect on that. Our referendum was for 1,000 feet. Oh. So the major factors, I'll go through what the decision or discussion was, and I'll seek some information from council about moving forward. In our referendum, we had asked, or we had written in the referendum, 1,000 feet of buffer between parks, places of worship, playgrounds, schools, and so on. So what happens with that 1,000 feet? The Birch Grove Park borders Tilton Road business, the back of all the businesses on Tilton Road. 1,000 feet crosses Tilton Road, so probably 2/3 of Tilton Road businesses in our what we perceived as what was going to be our area. About 2/3 of the business would be precluded by that. And then when we factored in locations of daycare centers and houses of worship, it knocked out probably another good portion of those. Didn't leave very many options. The other concern that we had was the way the rules are written on micro businesses. And we believe that at the time, it seemed like the micro businesses were not subject to our constraints at the number of licenses. If we approve 2 licenses, in the reading of that, we believe that they may not have to adhere to that. They might be able to continue. We might not be able to control that. So we could have more than 2, and our intention would be 2 or whatever number it might be. But as I reread those rules again, I believe the micro businesses was that legislation was really talking about the commission, and that they weren't going to limit the number of micro businesses that they would issue to. So it would still. So I don't, and I did speak to, I was contacted by one of our local business people that's been doing that's been in business in another city with cannabis. And he believes that that's not the case either, that the micro businesses still would fall under our license constraints as far as whatever number we approve, which made more sense. But I was tentative again in that committee.
So if we set a limit,
Yeah, so I don't believe that that's an issue. I don't think that we would be overrun with micro businesses.
what is a micro business?
Under 2,500 square feet, which
Okay.
would be a lot of business in.
Like you could put them in a corner of a store or something, or
It has to be a separate, yeah, it can't be, well, it depends on what the other store is. I guess it could be a part of, no, I think in the definition of it, it can't be a corner of a store, it has to be a separate
store.
store. So again, our recommendation was based on 2 factors, but then that one thing I believe is different. The other thing that this same person mentioned was the 1,000-foot rules, 1,000-foot buffers have been challenged by large cannabis companies, and they've been winning against municipalities. So,
So that,
so
Blows
that
that out of the
so you could end up with one right next to something you don't want, a daycare, a church, whatever. And even in the legislation, it does specifically say that, like, for example, you can have one in a drug-free school zone. And that wasn't part of that wouldn't affect us in that respect, but as an example, that is part of the legislation. So even though those two things changed, I would still, I think the committee still doesn't recommend going forward, but again, it would be up to the rest of council.
Is there,
Um,
is
yes.
there a park? Right? We've got 5,000 feet of woods between
Right,
Tilton Road and the first lake, where there's any human beings. So it's basically,
so as
you know,
it's,
it's basically the rainforest out there. No one goes out there. So I can't see considering that buffer zone right against Tilton Road a park. It's a
well, it's
park,
not
but
as
it's not,
today,
But it's
Yeah.
part of Birch Grove.
it's part of, well, then
Yeah.
if that's the case, then we should look into redeveloping that whole area.
yeah,
I'd love to see fields and, you know, bike paths and all kinds of stuff going up Tilton Road back there. It'd be nice.
well, and
But-
again, that's,
If we're gonna consider it a park and nix cannabis over it, well,
Make it a
let's
park.
make it a park.
well, and again, that's based on what we have today, not
Mhm.
what that park may be in the
Right.
future, and we could always,
Right.
we can, we can always do this in the future, but, so, one other item is, as far as what we're comparing that against, those are the factors that I think most people were concerned about. The revenue is the unknown. We, based on estimates, potentially 100 to 200,000 a year, or at least the first year, and then the second year, whatever, it would be less than the first, most likely be as more places come online and the market share gets taken away or eaten up by other cities.
Tom, if we took the park out of the equation, what's the impact to the other, like, what's the,
Then you're only, and again,
and that could be
Well,
challenged.
well, and the 1,000 feet can be challenging, and so it doesn't, and then it doesn't really, the 1,000 feet isn't really a factor, I don't believe. I found this out after we had already after we
Yeah.
had met.
Not sure. I'm not aware of any cases. Did they give any case law or?
I believe it was Jersey City, and they had to, they actually had to pay a settlement.
Jersey City approved it all.
Well, yeah,
They don't approve it at all.
yeah, they approved it, but the 1,000 foot failed, and
They
they,
settled.
I believe it was Jersey City.
Cost the
They
city
said they
money.
Paid damages, but
They agreed to sell it elsewhere.
Would have been.
But in any event, the question is whether, so that being said, and of course, our referendum did pass 57%. We have roughly, I believe there were 3,100 votes that particular election. So.
What was the percentage?
57. So I think it was about 1,800 yay and 1,350 nay. Approximately. I couldn't find the exact details on the website, the county's website. But again, it was a low voter turnout,
Mhm.
3,100 votes versus 6,800 registered voters,
But
but
it passed.
yeah, so that said, the committee didn't seem to want to move forward with it, but
I mean, are you looking for, are we looking
I'd
for like
like
a
to-
straw vote of moving
Yeah.
forward? I would be a yes, based on the fact that we've got 5,000 feet between the first lake and Tilton Road. And that should be completely thrown out. So that's not a park. We may call it a park, but it's not a park. Other stuff based on the fact that it could be challenged. And then the other fact is that the voters said, yes, they wanted it. we give it to them.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
that's my take on it. There's the three.
Yes, Councilwoman Carfine, since Dave started it down, we'll work our way this way. Yeah.
So what's the straw poll for?
Well, the recommendation of the recommendation of the committee, the committee is recommending not to move forward. We want to know,
Well, I think we owe it.
Yes, you agree with the committee not to move forward.
no, they would like to move forward. And
So,
Councilwoman Carfano agrees with the committee and Councilman Notaro disagreed.
Yeah,
I agree with Dave 100%.
Okay.
I agree with the committee's recommendation.
I agree with the committee's recommendation.
I think we can all speak for what Ryan agrees with.
Brian did
Brian, if you-
call me today. He's the one person that we know, so.
At least you, Tom.
Well, it's 4 against. It's 4 against, and I, you know, based on the, I'm opposed to it initially, and it's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
We can, this is something that, and again, this vote table, it puts it away for now until, such time as either this council or the next council decides to take it forward, but once it's approved, it's permanent, so, it is a critical decision.
It is what it is.
So we may lose 1 year of revenue, we may lose 2 or none.
Or-
Okay. Moving forward to the ongoing topics, are we anywhere with that storm order?
Mhm.
County is not helping us there. Okay. The potential, well, we're not selling properties, but there's potential development going on for those, for 3 different properties. So we are having a session tonight. We may have something more after that or in the future, but at least things are progressing. On the sober living, do we,
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a few properties that we'd like to get a title search done for. If council authorizes me to go ahead and do that, that way we know exactly what title is, for potential end users. I can certainly get that title report. My guess is title report for each property, probably in the neighborhood of $400 to $500.
for the city owned properties that we want to move to Habitat? Okay.
Mhm.
I would be a yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I think we're unanimous there. Okay, did we need to visit the sober living? It's possible zoning for the sober housing.
Yeah, I sent a draft ordinance
Mhm.
today.
I read it.
Did I copy it?
Yes.
I don't know if you want to discuss it now, review it, I don't know if
You-
you've had time.
I think you had mentioned about the locations or something.
Yeah, so in essence, I think what we need to do is if we're going to adopt this ordinance, I think we need to apply it to all residential zones. That way, the
Oh.
conditional use aspect of it carries through to all zones.
Mhm.
If we don't include all zones, my guess is they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing right now and flying under the cover of darkness and not having.
I think all residential zones, they're gonna be equally affected, so.
The other stuff was, number. The in the place, distance requirements, and these are all things that are within the discretion of the council to look at, how far in between, but they have to be reasonable too.
Would be persons per room, per bedroom?
The way it reads is 10 individuals exclusive of the operator in the facility itself or in the
Mhm.
house itself. So no, not per room, per.
Like 10 individuals per, but that house has to have a certain amount of bedrooms for 10 individuals.
Well, I think DCA requirements would kick in as to how many people.
How many
can be in
people
a-
per room?
I think it's two. I think there were
Two per
typically
bedroom.
they've been two per room.
Yeah. 2 per room.
Which I think they want more than one they kind of help each other. in the
Yeah.
In the program.
Yeah. It seems,
I can send this to all of council, I just didn't know where you
Yeah.
stood with.
I think that kind of covers it, I just, we definitely want to apply it to all residential areas, for sure.
All right, so why don't I apply it to all and send it to all council, ask Mary to put it on the next agenda,
Great.
discussion in this.
Yes. On the grant opportunities, we do have two that are on the agenda tonight, a grant for lead-based paint testing, and another one for cybersecurity. So, two additional grants that, hopefully we're successful with. Okay. Everyone can please refer to the agenda. Approval of the minutes, Councilwoman Bucci, Councilman Deweese. On the resolutions, I believe we do not need this updated. It's 32 and 33 off now, or 33 and 34. Okay, so, yeah, so we will do, is there anyone that would like anything removed from the consent agenda on 118 through 132?
So we are taking 134 off.
33.
33 and
33 and
34.
okay, thank you.
relative To the contract.
Yes,
and-
yes, thank you.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so the consent agenda, Councilman Leeds, Councilwoman Carfano. Ordinance 8. Councilman Notaro and Councilman Leeds. Payment of bills, Councilman Deweese and Councilwoman Bucci. And meeting notices, Councilwoman Carfano. At this time, we'll open the meeting to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on any matter, we ask that you please step forward and observe a 5-minute limit per speaker. And please do state your name and address for the record. Good evening.
My name is Christine Warden. I live at 101 Northfield Avenue. There's a problem with dogs being walked off leash on the bike path. There are 3 owners on my block alone on the bike path that walks their dogs randomly. The 3 dogs, that did not include the 3 dogs that randomly at large have attacked residents on Northfield Avenue. One they viciously injured, resulting in serious injury and a series of painful rabies shots. Sorry. The owners walking their dogs on the bike camp give numerous excuses why their dogs don't have to be on a leash, from that they're highly trained to they're registered with the police, one guy told me. And these aren't little dogs. These dogs intimidate other dogs and their owners, especially people that have been attacked. They see that. I have a child that I had to walk home from school for like a while because he's afraid to walk past that house where those dogs live. The code has to be rewritten in plain English because these people don't think their dogs fall under the definition of at large. Linwood has an ordinance that has a clear definition. Any dog off property must be on a 6-foot or shorter leash. Also, maybe they could put a reminder on the billboard out front, please walk your dog on a leash. It's like humane, should be taking care of your dog. That's all I have to say. Would anybody like to see a copy of the new ordinance? That maybe we can change it because it seems like nobody thinks that their dogs at large.
Yeah, yeah.
Council may remember about a month ago, I sent a picture or received a picture of several dogs who were running loose in this area. And I think one of them was a pit bull, am I right? Yeah. And one of them did bite a resident, correct?
I mean, one reported, one was at the hospital with the rabies shots and everything.
Is Linwood searchable in bonus?
What is it?
You may recall that I undertook a massive code update earlier in the year. We didn't adopt it yet, but the recommended language that Mrs. Gordon refers to is in the draft for our
Okay.
code. Chief Newman recommended that prior to leaving, that clearer language be put in place.
Thank
So
you. Okay.
There's also the, refer to New Jersey law, which has to do with hunting dogs.
it says at large, and I think you're right that some people don't understand what that means.
Phrase run at large shall be defined to mean any dog who is on the property other than that of its owner or custodian, and who further is not on a leash or restrained having a length of 6 feet or less. So they actually say people.
Yeah, so we have included that in our draft, so it is forthcoming. Thank you very much.
And if council prefers, we can expedite that particular portion because
I would.
As it's that time of year,
it's just,
there's more and more people
Yeah,
out.
can we have it? Can we do it for the next?
of course, yes.
Thank you. Is there anyone, if anyone in Zoom wishes to speak, please indicate by raising your hand, your Zoom hand.
I do have some.
Mrs. Brennan, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes, hi. This is Joan Brennan. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mrs. Brennan, could you repeat that, please?
It's Joan Brennan, 116 Dolphin Avenue in Northfield. Can you hear me?
We're having a little technical problems here.
No. It's coming out of the computer. Maybe put the mic on the computer.
How about now? I have a pretty big mouth.
Gosh, hold on. I don't think the speaker, just give me a second, I'm so sorry.
Hold on, Joe.
Play with all the wires over the weekend.
No, hold that, so I can see which one it is, please.
Good stuff.
That must have been the-
Mrs. Frank, you speak?
Alrighty, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Not quite yet, no.
You know what?
That's what I was thinking. It might work.
Shoot. How about now? How about if I yell a little bit? I really wanted to be there tonight to talk, but I'm really busy.
Oh, then it's just not working.
We need an IT update.
feel like that's my committee.
Yeah. What's the matter with you? Oh. Turn that down once you.
Mrs. Brennan?
Yes,
No, I'm so sorry.
that's okay. Do you want, well, can you hear me at all?
I can hear you, but pretty much no one else.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about if you want to just, I just wanted to go over the winners of the awards and make an announcement about the 6:27, 6 PM refreshments afterwards.
So if you'd like to. I can repeat what you say if you like.
Okay, so I wanted to announce the first baby of the year, which is Naomi Isabel Miller. She was born on January 1st.
First baby of the year is Naomi Miller, born January 1st.
Mr. 4th of July, our first Mr. 4th of July is 86-year-old Paul Glenn.
Our first Mr. 4th of July is 86-year-old Paul Glenn.
And our citizen of the year is Mr. Pat McGowan.
And our citizen of the year is Mr. Pat McGowan.
Refreshments will be served on 6/27 and awards will be given out at City Council meeting 6/27 at 6 PM.
The awards will be presented at the June 27th City Council meeting, and there will be refreshments served after, and I believe that's in the fire station, Mrs. Brennan?
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, that was it. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you,
really-
and I am so sorry for the technical difficulty.
Oh,
Believe
it's
it or not, we
fine.
do test this before the meeting. And of
Thank you so much.
course, thank you. Could it get worse? Seriously.
No. Or the speaker stuff on. They're the speaker.
Is there anyone else in Zoom wishing to attempt to speak?
We're tight.
Just embarrassing. Okay.
Please put some budget money toward that.
Yeah. Some new speaker.
Okay,
I have it in capital for next year, just so you know, the whole thing.
yep, all right. All right, seeing no one else wishing to speak, the public session is now closed. I have a motion to adjourn the work session. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, well, momentarily, we'll begin the regular session.
That's all, folks.
Doesn't count.
Okay. Good evening. This is the regular session, Northfield City Council, June 13th of 2023. This meeting has been properly advertised in accordance with Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, and in the Press of Atlantic City on January 7th of this year. May I have a flag salute by Mayor Chow, please?
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, let us remember and keep in our prayers those serving in our nation's armed forces, especially our troops away from home. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you.
Here.
Mrs. Bucci,
Here.
Mrs. Scarfano,
Here.
Mr. Deweese,
Here.
Mr. Leeds,
Here.
Mr. Notaro,
Here.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Palestina,
Here.
and Mr. Chow.
Here.
Mr. President,
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve minutes?
the mayor's report.
No.
Oh.
No, it's next.
Oh, hello. Out of order. Sorry. I'd like to make the appropriate motion to approve the minutes of the May 16, 2023 council meeting. They've been posted in the press and in the clerk's office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Council President and council members. At our Memorial Day event, it was well attended, and I want to thank everyone that was able to participate, and also our city services employees setting it up and so forth, and especially Shannon Campbell, who helped coordinate. It was very well coordinated as far as events and what occurred, and the people that there said nothing but praises about the event itself. I want to remind everyone, if you can make it tomorrow night at Northfield Community School, is going to be their graduation event. If you are able to come and you haven't called the school officials, please call them so they can make accommodations for your chair to sit at the event itself. In respect to the problem or some of the problems that we have experienced on the bike path, and just not only dogs running loose, but also individuals are not cleaning up after their dog has done number one or number two. I've talked to the chief, and what we're starting to do is we're going to utilize our bike patrol patrolmen to go up and down the bike path with the bikes that we have there. And that will bring forth later on, if we have money. I did talk to Chief Newman when he was the chief, to try to purchase a electric bike for our patrol here. And one of the rationales, and I was talking to the patrolman who was using the bike, is that if he was on the bike path and there was a call, let's say down in Tilton Mark and so forth, it would be much easier for them to get there using an electric bike as opposed to the pedal. So that's something that I would like the council to consider when the time comes for an electric bike for our patrol. But as I said, because of some of the complaints that we've had, the chief felt it was a good idea to have a bike patrol and utilize it along the bike path itself.
Do we need a budget for bike?
Yeah.
Is that something that we might be able to have in there already for?
No,
the
we,
department? I mean,
no.
I don't know.
They're not like grossly expensive. I mean,
I don't know what the cost is. I have no idea. 1,400?
I think it's a good idea.
Um, I'll
I
talk
think
to
we're
chief.
just, I think, yeah, I think we were talking about the bike patrol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I want to just bring everyone's attention that the New Jersey American Water Company has been advertising where they will provide through a grant. If your house has lead pipe, the grant is going around providing monies to replace the lead pipes to the house from the street at no cost to the resident. I had it done at my house and it was efficiently done. And they still have to come back and do the patchwork for the street and the curb and so forth, but it is no cost. And if you're interested, just call the New Jersey American Water Company and request someone to come out and well, they'll know if you have lead or not. Lead pipes, excuse me. Later on this month, there is going to be a meeting at the Canale Building on the county court system. So since we're getting out of it, I felt that there's no sense for me to be there to speak or anything like that unless council wants me to be there. Council had directed me at the last meeting to ask Councilman and Mayor Perry about the car wash at the county. And he indicated to me that there was no formalized agreement or resolution. It was just simply a discussion in conjunction with the sewage that was being put by the county in the county yard. So if council wishes to pursue this, I would suggest someone go and contact the county representatives about the car wash.
We have at least 2 times tried to,
I'm sorry, what, Greg?
I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. Let's see. I can't even understand my own writing. This past week, I went to a forum and workshop on various topics dealing with the effects of marijuana and cannabis and other drugs, opiates. And I will just say this, that what I came out of the meeting was, and if this topic comes up council or even future council members to tread slowly. Look at the short term as well as the long-term effects. Right now, as Council President brought out, we don't know what the income will be from these retail stores and so forth. So I think I commend council to, at this point in time, there's going to be a lot of other municipalities that are going to have it. We don't know, as I said, what are going to be the pros and cons, but I commend council at this time to slow down and, see what's going on there. I'm sorry, what?
Smell the roses.
Yeah, smell the roses, no, literally, right? Okay, I believe that's, no, what? Oh, that's it. That's all I have. Just a reminder about the 4th of July parade, and there's going to be the run here. So if you can participate, I know you participate in the run there. I thank you very much. I think, are we meeting at, I don't know if John's still, but are we meeting on Jackson Avenue or are we meeting someplace else? Does anyone know?
Jackson.
As far as I know.
Yeah, Jackson.
Jackson Avenue?
Jackson
Okay.
Broad.
All right.
I think we meet on Broad and
Yeah.
then.
And the last thing I want to announce is with deep regrets today, I attended the funeral of Joe Breeding. Some of you may remember him. He's a resident here in Northfield. And the reason why I bring up his name is because he was one of our more vocal and positive representative on concerns of the city. So I send my sympathy on behalf of City Council to the family there, but he was a very nice gentleman, and he, as I said, he came to City Council several times and brought some issues that brought it to attention. So, and that's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you so very much. Oh, one other thing. I do have one other thing. One very important thing. So the soil radar search on the county property at the Camden Diocese is proposing to build a homes, or I should say residence, has been completed. And at this time, they are reviewing the information. If there is, for any reason, there is some abnormalities, they're going to dedicate the area. And they do have a plan B that they can discuss with the county to move the building further away from any kind of possible, quote, graves. At that point, once that has been finalized, then they're going to come before City Council just to present their ideas and plans and input on this project here.
Will they provide us with the report?
I will ask them to.
Yeah, so we know where.
Yeah, we
Yes.
didn't know that,
Okay.
for sure.
All right.
It would be appropriate to dedicate.
Yes,
something
sir.
there.
All right. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Oh, Mr. Nasir. Going and talking. Oh, it runs, it runs. Aren't we supposed to be mapping these things? Well, I'm not you, I mean.
I have a question.
So whoever put it there didn't do an as-built.
So when we can't find something, we mark it with a question mark.
Not filled at all.
So do we have means to find these? Is there other way to find these? Do we have a camera or? It's covered. Yeah.
It's a it's a stormwater though? Is that what the new truck is doing?
It's clean, isn't it?
But can they map while they're cleaning?
Oh, it's been fun, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Do you need anything, any assistance from anyone in the city for that? Greg? Okay.
Mhm.
Mr. Notaro, you maybe should tell them that would be regular.
It should be regular practice. And then when you find it the first time, do they mark it, map it? I don't know, because paint will go away after a while, right? Yeah. Right.
What if there's no lateral? This is just a stupid question, just a general question. What if there's no lateral for that little house they put in? Who pays for that?
Any other questions? Thank you. At this time, we'll open the meeting to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, we ask that you please step forward, state your name and address for the record. And there's over a 5-minute limit per speaker. If there's anyone in Zoom, please raise your hand.
Hi, Mrs. Brennan. I see you have your hand up again. As you know, we're experiencing some audio difficulty. Would you feel comfortable typing your question or your comment?
Sure.
Okay, so Mrs. Brennan, whatever you type, I'm happy to read it for you. And if you'd start with your name and address for the record, please. Joan Brennan, 116 Dolphin Avenue. As for the parade, the parade will start promptly at 10 a.m. Lineup will be on Jackson and Broad. And we'll start at 9:30 a.m. Lineup will go, instead of on both sides, it will only be on the north side of Broad. Basically, that is our only change this year. All are welcome and sign-up sheets are on the city website, or please call Mrs. Brennan. Thank you. And Mrs. Brennan, thank you for your patience. I sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you, Mrs. Brennan. Anyone
No
else?
problem.
I know. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Is there anyone else on Zoom?
One person, but they don't have their hand.
Okay. Seeing no one, the public session is now closed. On to resolutions. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and having been reviewed by council will be enacted by one motion. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter. Any items requiring an expenditure are supported by a certificate of availability of funds. There is an executive session at the end of the meeting, and we'll come back into public session to make comment for the record after the executive session has concluded. Any vote made on subjects discussed will be made in public. Have a motion to vote by consent agenda.
Adopt consent agenda for resolution 118 through 131.
The vote by consent agenda.
It's 132. Council.
136.
We'll start over. Okay, all right,
A second.
second, okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We have a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Now, it's necessary to open to adopt consent agenda for resolutions 118 through 132.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Bucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Carfano?
Yes.
Mr. Deweese?
Yes.
Mr. Leeds?
Yeah.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Palestina?
Yes.
Motion carries for the adoption of the consent agenda.
We have a motion to introduce ordinance 8, 2023.
Move to introduce ordinance 8, 2023, to be read by title only.
Ordinance 8 of 2023 is an ordinance of the City of Northfield, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey, establishing a single joint municipal court with the town of Hamilton. This ordinance also repeals and amends Chapter 18 of the general ordinances of the City of Northfield and approves a joint municipal court agreement for the operation of the joint municipal court with the town of Hamilton. This is the introduction. There will be no public input, and the ordinance will be published in full in the Press of Atlantic City on That's not right, June 12th. It's June 20th is when it will be published. It is presently posted on the municipal website as well as in the lobby of City Hall. Any member of the public who requests a copy of the ordinance will be provided with one free of charge in the office of the municipal clerk during regular business hours. There will be a second reading, a public hearing, and the matter will be considered for final adoption on June 27th of 2023.
Payment of bills? Oh, never mind. Back that up. Roll call. Roll call for the ordinance.
Mrs. Bucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Carfano?
Yes.
Mr. Deweese?
Yes.
Mr. Leeds?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Palestina?
Yes.
Motion carries for the introduction of ordinance 8 of 2023.
And the bills?
Make motion, payment of bills, $1,220,355.15.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Bucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Carfano?
Yes.
Mr. Deweese?
Yes.
Mr. Leeds?
Yeah.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Palestina?
Yes.
Motion carries for payment of bills.
Meeting notices?
Our next meeting will be June 27th, starting at 6 p.m. for our work session. Our regular meeting follow immediately.
Thank you.
They should be here in the previous.
Okay, we will be going, momentarily, we'll be going into executive session. Anything?
So resolution 132 of 2023, which was just adopted as part of the consent agenda, is a resolution providing for an executive session not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12B, in this case 7, matters covered under the attorney-client privilege. We are required to set forth as much information as possible about the subject matter to be discussed, as well as provide for the members of the public the amount of time they can expect to elapse before the non-public minutes will be disclosed. And in a moment, I will defer to the solicitor for comment. However, for those members of the public who are here with us this evening, as well as those in Zoom, when the executive session does begin, the public will be asked to excuse themselves from in-person attendance in council chambers. And for those participating by Zoom, the audio and video portions will be paused. Council will remain in council chambers. And at the conclusion of the executive session, the doors will be opened. Any members of the public who are still here will be welcomed back in, and the audio and video portions of the meeting will also be resumed at that time. Mr. Facenda.
Yes, as authorized by resolution 132, 2023, council for the city of Northfield will enter into an executive session not open to the general public in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Subject matter to be discussed is an update regarding affordable housing compliance efforts, potential future affordable housing development, and other matters that will fall within the attorney-client privilege. Council will keep minutes of the executive session as required by law, which will be approved by council and made available for public inspection when required and permitted by law. At this time, the time frame for that is unknown. We will stay here in council chambers. We will return for a statement for the record. It's not anticipated that any official action will be taken tonight.
To the mainland student, thank you very much. You can probably go at this time, right, Renee?
Yeah.
The mainland student? Thank you so much.
Mary, do you think I need this words? Okay,
Oh, that's why, yeah, that's why you.
I'll be back.
We'll take a brief reset on here, Doc.
I'm going out. They'll help you if you need help.
They will be in a minute.
Then we need a formal motion second. We'll call it recess.
Yes.
Okay.
May I have a motion to reset? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nope.
We are in recess until the boards and are there attorney here? Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I just want to make you go down.
I took them out of my car this weekend.
Bring back some ice cream too. Yeah.
I looked at that, what you sent me, very impressed.